would say yes, because obviously if everybody's playing Graves, nobody's playing Graves. And we know that they can do other comps as well. We haven't seen a single Soifeng comp in that game. There was an attempt at Whispers and some concoction that I don't want to get too much into. We haven't really seen Mirage, of course. Executioner's not the one that's like the most preferred. But there is some other stuff that I feel like is equally as strong as Graves. Seraphine, naming the Yone, naming the Soifeng. And I feel like those are still very valid options.
It's a case when there's 8 players in a lobby. Each player has to decide what their final board will look like, what kind of competitive comp they can put together. And if certain comps are missing, that means everyone's trying to go all in on one specific thing, and they're going to start contesting each other, as we saw in the last game. All 3 of these players that I mentioned hit the Graves too. Yes, they finalize their comp, but it depends on when you hit it. It's also the important factor as well. And one more important factor is the fact that I think Mordog is trolling us. Once again, Executioner's Edge is going to be the Mirage. We haven't seen Electric Overload on stream in the entirety of the tournament. The same with Pirate's Greed, an alternate way to work on your econ.
I really don't want to see Electric Overload either, so I'm not complaining about that one, Mordog. You can keep that one away, but yeah, I mean, some Spell Sword would be nice. Get some Mirage comps in. I'm here for it. We have seen a little bit of that, but I feel like there's more options for that. Just coming around, we're checking in. Players are building the first couple of boards that they can do.
Lakoko, set 2, Nidalee 2, hoping for maybe a build diff because these traits do not work together at all for the most part. There's very little overlap between Nidalee, the Shapeshifter, and an Astral unit, and this Dragonmancer with Rage Wing. But we're seeing the board here. We have a Malphite ready to go. If you find that Skarner, you find a Lilia. One French player took... No,
nope.
Okay. Lakoko learned his lesson. He's like, double 61. I am not falling into that same trap.
Yeah, instantly sells that one off as we move towards our offense. It's Prismatic Augments coming in here first. I am so ready.
Makes, if you look at the stats, if you're a mathematician like Lumar Pines, for example, Darkflight Crown is, I think it still might be, I'm not sure now, definitely the first few days of this patch was the highest statted augment in the Prismatic category for TFT, GM+. So among the best players, this is the augment that worked the best. You get an early Rengar, you get the sacrifice for Darkflight Essence as well. And we were talking about maybe missing some Rengar in that last game, maybe missing, you know, the counter to Xayah that ended up winning that lobby. And this time Lakoko is going to play for that Darkflight Crown instead. Nice Edge 3 for Salvi. That is a clear indication of maybe Yone, maybe Soifeng, which is one of my favorite comps in this set.
I am just ready to find out if we have any exciting things going on. Woodlet coming out from Bricks here. I want to see the Cursed Crowns. I want to see the eggs. Give me something.
Edge of Night on the bench as well for Salvi. So we were talking about it. You want these augments to give you clear direction because that way you can kind of narrow down your options, get much more econ without having to hold so many different units on your bench. And this is a very clear direction for Salvi. I would be surprised not to see a Jade Vertical or a Jade with Whispers comp coming in on stage 4, or maybe even just that Yone that we didn't see at all in that game 1. Double 61 now. Has some Cavs on the bench, but no Lilia for now. I think he's maybe learned his lesson. I'm going to try and make that same mistake. The Skarner taken down there, and that will be Ezreal as the carry for Lelouch.
Yeah, Earth's grab bag showing up on the other side of the board as Casey Double at least has some economy going on. And I see something that I do not want to see. Panda, Solo Gazang on the scope, weapons Prismatic.
Uh-oh. Well, we were missing Yone. Now we will definitely be seeing Yone in this game. That's what other players are thinking. The moment that pops up, they're like, uh-oh, it's going to be Yone 3. Had a 2.75 average placement yesterday, I think, proven, at least in EMEA, how strong this comp is, especially when you hit those absolutely crazy synergistic augments like that Tilt Weapons 3 is. And Solo Gasang, actually, I'm going to tell you right now, I saw on his YouTube channel earlier in the set a video of this exact comp, and that was the first time that I saw Yone popping off with this combination of augments. So he's someone that is very, very familiar with this exact comp and this exact augment.
Absolutely, and he does have a Yone on the board as well, so can directly go there. Has not yet gotten any of the traits built out. We'll be looking for the Warriors, for Pantheon later on, for the Olaf for now, and definitely to build out that Yone. And he knows exactly, you said it before, he knows exactly how to navigate this comp to drive it to a victory, so that will be definitely the board to look out for.
One key thing that we saw in that, or that we're going to try and see in this carousel is any amount of spatulas. You want to have that Swift Shell emblem onto this Yone. You want to have maybe spatulas for the Darkflight comp as well. So very, very important to see what the random components are on that carousel coming up after this fight.
Yeah, we hopped over to Daysik, who is on a little bit of a golden ticket moment, maybe manifesting his own golden ticket to Worlds, where he wants to go this year, and I'm just ready for it. Let's see how this one plays out.
Not to be the bearer of bad news, but the one time that I recall seeing this augment picked up in this tournament, it was Revan, and he navigated that game to a 7 yesterday in day 2.
Don't say that.
So hopefully for Daysik, he knows the tech, he knows a different way to take this game with that golden ticket. Revan went for the Astral angle for that comp with golden ticket. Obviously, you get to reroll a lot more often. It can definitely work maybe the same way as, maybe with a Yone, because you get to reroll more often, but then you would be contesting someone like Solo Gasang. So a lot to think about in this stage 2.
And just looking at our components by Blitz.gg here, Lelouch, of course, has the spatula from the Earth's grab bag, has not used it just yet, and there will not be a second spatula here in this carousel, but he might just be so inclined to hold on to that one, not slam it yet, and try to get that Tactician's Crown.
The rod has been picked up, so the Rage Blade will be built on the Yone when the Yone deems it deems the time to arrive, not quite in the comp for Solo Gasang just yet. We see a Lilia here. 4, no L. For now, just a traditional board here playing onto the Lagoon. Has the emblem. We talked about it so many times today and yesterday and pretty much every single day of this tournament. How the 2-1 augment really sets you in a certain direction. In this case, with the Lagoon emblem, you can't really pivot off of that. You have very few comps that you can now go for, Soam being one of them, with mages or with just vertical Lagoons. Depends on what the player is trying to go for and what kind of spot they're in. But for now, it will be a Zeri with that Shojin, trying to get as many Lagoon stacks as possible to accelerate all those different rewards you get from the Lagoon trait.
Yeah, and he will meet with Lekoko, who has found 2 kitty cats for now, and Deer getting some extra bonus here. Will not go for the Darkflight Essence just now. Can definitely go for that later, has the emblem ready to go, but for now choosing to go with power on the Rengars first.
Talk about Rengar, Darkflight. I think really what elevates this comp, as Scope Weapons does for Yone, it is the double trouble especially, allowing you kind of naturally want to have 2 Rengars anyway because of the way Darkflight Essence works. So leading into that with double trouble is even better. In this case, not quite the augment just yet, Darkflight Essence, which allows you to have that pump in the first place, but Lekoko really going to hope to find a double trouble in the next few augments, either at 3-2 or at 4-2, because if not, this comp essentially just becomes a top 4 comp. It can really bully and beat up all the players that low roll going into stage 4. If they don't find that Graves 2, for example, Rengar does so well at cleaning up those boards. If you don't find a Xayah 2, for example, all these little squishy carries that aren't 2-starred yet, Rengar can just decimate very, very quickly. And that's what Lekoko wants to go for. This is not a comp that goes for a first place, unless you find double trouble, or a Swain 3 maybe. In this case, just going to play for tempo, play for a top 4. To no one's surprise, he got first place in the last game. All he needs to do is play consistent and play for top 4s.
I'm actually really, really interested to see how a Rengar 3 would deal with the lobbies we've been seeing so far. I imagine he has a little bit more problems against a Grave Seraphine or a Soifen board, but with those Astrals that we're seeing with the Swift Shot Xayah coming around, Rengar just likes to be a little stabby-tabby, and I think this board has potential to go top 3, top 2, even with that double trouble, but we're going to see how this one plays out. First, it is going to be Crux, and I'm a little bit curious what Mr. Lelouch is on, because I did see some upgrades come through towards these PvE rounds, and I'm wondering if he might be competing with Solo Gasang. There is a Yone at least.
There's a Yone, and there's a Braum 2-star, almost fully itemized already. So a massive tank body already good to go. You have just the Hand of Justice on the Ezreal 1 for now. So frontline looking fantastic. Backline carries, the damage not so much. So you have to find those upgrades after this Krug round going to stage 3 if you want to stay alive. But the spatula is there. All you need now is a bow from this Krux to have that Swift Shell emblem. The Ezreal will get a little bit more synergy as well. Hoping to find a Twitch though, and then oh, Tactician's Crown instead, Lelouch, you lucky boy.
Just dropping here, casually falling out, and that might just be what he needed to be pursued, to be convinced that he shouldn't go for that. Yone will instantly slam the Tactician's Crown as he should, and now get away from the Swifty boy. Solo Gasang has already clearly signaled that that's what he's going to go for. You do not want to be holding hands.
Olaf comes in for now. I think just a temporary unit to play alongside this Yone, but I guess if you're going to be playing Yone all the way, which could be the case, Olaf will be that secondary carry, maybe the Zeke's holder, as we've seen so many different times throughout this tournament, but the Nasus upgrade is big. Again, great front line, but you're still missing some more damage. You're still trying to find the upgrade on that Yone. For now, going to be the Hand of Justice onto the Olaf.
Yeah, and we are seeing on the right side that players are slowly but surely going for level 6. Dasik at the very bottom and Noel at the very top both made that little bit of an early level to try and get some better chances in these rounds here. And we're going to see how that one works out. But for now, it will be Darkflight against Lelouch Sport, who really needs a little bit more direction at this point.
I love the narrative of this fight. Like Coco enforced it for his Rengar. Rengar usually beats up on these small puny units. Instead, jumps into the middle of 4 warriors and gets beat up himself. Just getting hit all around him by punches and axes, and Rengar can't quite do it for Coco there.
And Bricks, now slowly but surely falling off, is on 58 HP, whereas Noel is leading with 94. We're getting Silver Augments second.
So Lucasan gets the Yone 2, but Dasik gets the Recombobulator, one of the worst performing Silver Augments in the game. I understand the reroll here. Knife's Edge, Electrocharge, Battle Mage are all possibilities. Battle Mage will be the pick here for Dasik. Fielding his units, very important for viewers at home. They're wondering, why did Dasik take all of his units off the board? To some extent, at stage 3-2 and at stage 4-2, the augments you get are tailored to the traits that you have activated on the board. In what way exactly, it is a mystery for most of us. But in the case of these top players, they know kind of what to do and how to manipulate this to some extent. And this is why Dasik wanted to take off all his units, get some neutral augments instead, and that was the case there.
And we were talking about Coco needing that double trouble. Does get an Assassin Heart here, which is going to give a little bit of extra buffing to the kitty cat. Other than that, these augments are, I would say, very flexible, very tame. We've seen a little bit of Celestial coming through, always a preferred pick for our players. And then Battle Mage and Electrocharge also coming through as well.
Goldmancer Staff is the Shimmer skill item for this game too. The moment this was seen by all of these top players, alarms started sounding. Players immediately tried to field whatever Shimmer skill units they could find, and we're seeing it here between Dasik and Bricks, both trying their best to get as much gold as possible. And Dasik may be thinking about going for a Kai'Sa 3 angle. We didn't see it as much in EMEA, but in the North American Regional Finals in Day 2 and Day 1, it really did pop off for a lot of different players.
Yeah, we actually have seen a little bit of Kai'Sa. Out of these players, it has been played 3 times in Day 1 and Day 2. And I feel that just warrants enough to go there. We've seen it with 6 Dragonmancers primarily. We've also seen it with 4 Dragonmancers once. And I'm here for it. I love Dragonmancers. Give me a reroll. I'm happy to be with Dasik along the ride.
Lelouch had some problems. I think no longer. Deja has been found early in stage 3. Yone has been upgraded. The front line is looking good. The augments are looking good. You have Electrocharger for some extra damage in that front with that incredibly tanky Braum. And now you have a Deja to slowly deal that damage with the Wind Blast, slowly clean up all of these units. Incredibly effective in stage 3 due to just how much more burst she has than most other carries at this point in the game.
Yeah, and let's just look what a Deja 1 can do. I'm seeing a Goldmancer Staff on the other side of the board that Bricks has picked up, so that might also be an indicator of what players will be looking to flex into their comps.
Looking at the augments for Coco, he has actually found the Assassin Heart as the second augment to pick up, which means he can go for the 4 assassin variation of that Rengar Darkflight comp. We were talking about the double trouble variation, which is, I think, the best, and I think most players decide it is optimal because you want to play that way anyway. It just features the same exact playstyle. But leading into 4 assassins with Kiana being sacrificed in that Darkflight sacrifice spot, and Nyla coming in as a secondary carry is also a viable way to go for it once you go level 8.
Yeah, I feel like we should check in with Salvi, see where he is at the moment. Picking up a vest here from that carousel. We saw on his bench there was a cloak and a rod, and he has been on that Knife's Edge, and we can see where this one's going, no?
Well, I would think so, but there's 6 Wukongs currently and 1 in the shop. I would like to think that the Bonky Kong is not quite the viable Day 3 TFT EMEA regional final comp to play. I think it might just be an item holder for now, but maybe Solvi says, hey, I'm going to hold this Wukong if I win, and maybe at least for this Stage 3 and Stage 4 until I get a Xiaoyu 2, it might be viable to hold and to have a chance for a Wukong 3, at least for a tiny bit.
Okay, hear me out, Solvi. If you're listening, abandon the mission. Do not go for Yone. Zolokazang is already on that train, and the ship has sailed. Pick up the Xayah, go for something else. You do not want to be holding hands with your fellow countrymate going down this draft.
He did it last game, but not this one. I think this is very clearly going to be, in all seriousness, a Xiaoyu Siphon game. I think it's a perfect spot to be in right now. You have the Knife's Edge, you have Celestial Blessing, 2 augments that work perfectly. You have the items already indicating as well. I think more than anything else, most newer players that maybe aren't as highly rated as the ones we're seeing here, they try and dictate the direction they go in by the units they currently have on the board. But it's so much more important to dictate it off of your augments and also your items. And the items to me are just screaming Xiaoyu, Edge of Night, and Hand of Justice already built on that Wukong.
Yeah, and that's just what it's going to be for now. Would very much like to find that Xiaoyu will not be in it for this moment as he wants to stabilize on that 40 gold. I'm not so worried about Casey Double in this round of the game as Dasik finds a Jax 3.
Oh, and that's why we can't see the upgrade there for Double 61. He's missing it because all of them are in the natural shops that Dasik has found. He has been rolling a tiny bit with Golden Ticket though, so Golden Ticket has allowed him to go for a reroll comp instead. And it looks like it will be that Shimmer Skill, Lagoon, Kaisa, Jax, Volibear angle. And with Gold Manager Staff, I don't blame him. A great combination for that Shimmer Skill item and this champion.
Yeah, we are seeing Casey Double on the other side of the map. But Dasik's Kaisa just doing so much damage, has the Gold Monster. We've been talking about it for this entire tournament, and is one away? Two. Oh, there's another one.
There was one in the shop.
One
Dasik
away.
is,
he might be rolling after this.
This is one key thing that you know, viewers might see as very, very odd. Players are trying to give as little information as possible and only give information at the last possible minute they have to.
Yep.
He doesn't even buy the Kaisa because
well,
there
she
it
is.
is.
Just
Kaisa
hits her
3-star.
naturally in the store.
We're not even in Stage 4 yet, Max. This is so early, and Kaisa was a very viable carry despite the recent nerfs to actually get a top 4 and sometimes even a win. We saw it at NA Regionals quite a few times as well. And as I was saying, you want to give information as late as possible when it comes to making a 3-star even as well in some cases, because players are scouting. They're trying to see, oh, he's 2 away. I'm going to start holding Kaisa. He's not going to get it just yet. And then he gets the upgrade anyway. So it's so important to keep that information to yourself until the last moment.
Absolutely, and I am just so here for it. Dasik had a little bit of a tendency to go for Dark Flight boards in the past 2 days. Yesterday didn't do him too well, took his only bottom 4 with a Dark Flight Rengar 3, has now changed direction, is going for that Kaisa reroll, and I love it.
And Brick says, you know, no pivot, I'm going Grave Seraphine. Anyone wants to hold hand with me, you're more than welcome to join, because once again, he's going for that Graves as a carry. Coming into the second game, he played it 3 times yesterday in those 5 games, and now the first 2 games of day 3 once again on this comp.
Yeah, and we will see where this one goes. I'm not sure. There's a Siphon for Casey Double that has been picked up, so he's just building out that classic Jade Whispers comp that we've been seeing for, I feel like, the last 3 tournaments, still doing really well in the overall, but we'll find the loss here.
And Brix has to find this upgrade on this Graves quickly because he's level 7. He has no gold to work with. He's rolled it down all the way. He is close to a big upgrade on that Zac as well. We saw Zac yesterday in that last game. Seemed to not die at all once it's fully itemized. And that's going to be another Prismatic augment for this game too. Mystic Soul is definitely one of the augments that can work when it comes to getting those extra traits. You get some extra AP, extra magic resist rather, towards AP, and that's going to be the pickup there. We're going to see what other comps players are going for in this Stage 4.
Noel finds a Graves too, which is bad news for Brix, who is also looking for that. Noel now also on the level 8, a little bit ahead of Brix. Does not have much gold to work with, is missing the Seraphines that we saw on Brix's board, but the Graves, arguably the stronger unit here, does not have a Zeke though.
And does not have a Silas too. I've talked about it so many times with the Astral Mage comp as well. This is one of the key units at stabilizing your board, especially in this point where this Silas is holding all these items. Not going to be in the final comp for Noel, but at least for this Stage 3, Stage 4, you want this frontline to get a 2-star instead to just tank a little bit longer.
Yeah, and I am just so ready to see for what these prismatic augments will do for us. We had one as the very first one, locking players into some direction. Now the third one comes around, and the lobby that was so crazy yesterday, where Solo Gazang hit all of those 5-cost 3-stars, was a prismatic third augment round as well. So maybe, just maybe, we're in for a treat.
And Lelouch there taken down a notch, still the HP leader with that very early Deja. We see a double Dragon Chop here for Noel, but not really the ones he's looking for just yet. Finds a Sohm, but Xiaoyu not really the upgrade he needs. And this is quite of a mixed match there with 7 Lagoon. Brix finds a Zac 3, Salvi finds a Siphon 2, so big upgrades coming in for those low HP players that need to find a way to stabilize.
Absolutely. Stabilizing is what we are looking for, as KC Double finds a bar 2, which is a pretty good pickup in 4-3 already. We will take a look at some of the other augments that come through. Salvi and Lelouch both on that Celestial Blessing 3, which is going to give so much extra sustain to the comp. And Salvi looking for the Xiaoyu.
So Logosang missing some key items on the Yone. They only one item for now. Cybernetic Implants is a massive augment to pick up for this comp, though, utilizing the extra AD so well when you already have a lot of attack speed on the Yone and the Rage Blade. But needs to find a good pickup here on the Carousel. Could be a glove to just have that tier that's maybe not so useful in this AD comp become a Hand of Justice. Although you don't really need the healing as much with this Yone comp because of the scope weapons. You're not really getting yourself into trouble as often as you would with this, what is usually a melee carry in this case is now very much a ranged carry.
Absolutely, and we are in the carousel now looking for what players might be wanting. Salvi hovering around that Pantheon with the bow. We see Lakoko has a spatula open. Let's see what he goes for. Is going to be the Zoe with the belt, and Lelouch and Noel going last here.
Solo really taking his time to consider if he wants the glove or not. I think he knows as well he doesn't need Hand of Justice as much, but maybe just a way to make that item be, or the component rather, the tier, be somewhat useful. Ideally, you want the Giant Slayer onto this Yone instead at some point later in this game. There it is, Yone 3. That's the big upgrade. He's looking for the big power spike. Terra 2 for Lelouch. We're not even in stage 5 yet.
I mean, just hit, right? That's been kind of the name of the game here. Players are just finding those upgrades left, right, and center. And Lelouch has not given up on that. Yone just now is definitely looking for a little bit more of a Dragoness perspective in the long run. But for now, going for the 6 Mirage seems like a good idea.
Reminder for viewers at home, it is Executioner's Edge for this Mirage, for this Deja. Still a Deja 1 though, needs to find one more copy to get that upgrade for the backline carry. The Braum taken off the board once that Terra 2 was found, but thank you, Braum, for your service. Allows Lelouch to come into this stage 4, almost stage 5 with 72 HP, a very healthy spot to be in. That being said, the Deja, I don't know if she can out-heal this Siphon bite, but Siphon going to run away now, not able to kill the Deja just yet. And the Siphon, can he actually do it? Has the Bloodthirster to heal up. Going to come back for a round 2, and round 2 does it. Deja taken down. Terra, the Earthquake, not quite enough. And a big win there for Double 61 against Lelouch.
Speaking of things that are relevant and important, Salvi is on 16 HP. We see it right now, the Xiaoyu 2 coming through here. The Jade Siphon board slowly but surely coming online for him. But is that going to be enough? 7 losses in the tank.
Double 61 also finds the Siphon 2-star, so everyone that needs to hit has hit, except for maybe Lelouch on his Deja. It comes down to maybe the HP totals that people have arrived, or the players have arrived at right now in this stage 5, because some players, one bad fight for Salvi, a little bit of fight RNG not going his way, maybe in this mirror match against Double 61, and he might be out of the tournament already, or out of this game already.
Yeah, and it is a mirror match. KC Double and Salvi both on the Siphon. We're just gonna see which one bites harder. And I'm going to say it will be Salvi's. They're on to the backline now. And
yeah,
that's
so big,
not looking too well. Oh, it's gonna charge one more time onto the Xiaoyu. The Jack support is there trying to help out. Gonna ult one more time, not gonna come through. And it is a battle of the Siphons as they bonk into each other. KC Double takes a win.
Biggest problem there was the Xiaoyu 1 that's not quite able to stand its ground for Double 61. That is Salvi now looking for the Radiant item that could fit. You have a spot open on this Shioyu as well. A Titan's Vow would be fantastic, but really any good AD item is going to work out. In this case, it looks like it's going to be that Thieves Glove instead. You can remove the Titan's Resolve off the Siphon, put the Thieves Glove on him instead, or the Radiant Thieves Glove rather, and now have a Titan's Resolve onto the Shioyu. So a perfect sequence of itemization there from Salvi, and now his units are looking much, much more menacing for any opponent that will face him in Stage 5.
Okay, yes, they are. I absolutely agree. But 8 losses in the tank, will that be enough? And the rest of the lobby is squaring up. Solokazang is the only one who's still on level 6. The rest of the players are level 7 or even level 8, like Likoko, who is here.
I thought it would be 4 assassins, but no, it's 6 assassins. Diana is in as well. Kiana being sacrificed. Rengar on its way to 3-star, not quite there just yet. Only 5 current copies on the board and on the bench for Likoko, but a very, very interesting variation of this Rengar Dragonfly that we have not seen yet in this tournament, and really I think anywhere in these top regionals throughout this set.
I mean, I think this comp is probably one of the best you could build without having double trouble on Darkflight. It requires so many emblems, but look at what this board can do. We are an 8 Darkflight, 6 Assassin, something you don't get to see much of. And Briggs, Mythic Soul's just not gonna do so much here as the Rengar comes for what stands in his way.
Maybe one quick draw away there from getting that double kill on both the Swain and the Rengar, but not quite in time there. Graves taken down. Maybe Salvi also taken down. I'm not sure it's going to be a win there. The Terra too much for Salvi to deal with, and Salvi, the German player, unfortunately for Makes and her national biases, taken down in 8th place in this game too.
Yeah, that's not good, but we're not too worried. There's 4 more games after this, and the top 5 will make it. Dasik, however, giving us a little bit of One Punch Man moment with this Dragon Mancer reroll board. And if you were wondering how Salvi could get knocked out 8 with the board that he has, you're seeing the reasons why every time we change POV.
I was told Glowmancer's staff was pretty good at printing gold, but I was not told that it could just print infinite money. 4 3-stars at the very start of Stage 5. Lee Sin, Jax, Kai'Sa, and Volibear. Lee Sin up into the air, but not really the star of the show in this comp. Only has that Redemption stacked on him. It's going to be the Kai'Sa instead. Giant Slayer, Radiant Giant Slayer, Demon Slayer rather. You have the JG.
Did you see what she did
you have
to that
the Shojin.
Siphon?
She's deleting everything, Makes.
Oh my goodness, that is not good news for anybody that's going to match up against Dasik in the future. You see the damage breakdown on the right side of the screen. That is the power of Kai'Sa 3. She's just swinging left, right, and center.
For Dragonmancer for now, we'll see where Dasik wants to take this comp. Has the Battle Mage as well. That works fantastically with this build, actually. It's not really an augment that works so well. It's not as versatile as many others, but in this case, Dasik putting it to great, great use. Has the Ice Cream Cone built as well. We're not quite in summer, but still Kai'Sa deserves, I think, a nice cold treat every so often with the work she's putting in for Dasik.
Yeah, I mean, that is just amazing, lovely, exactly what you want to see. And here's the second Siphon player. We saw Salvi go at 8th. Will KC Double follow that trend? I'm very worried. I'm not sure if that Soraka one has enough sustain to put enough beef in front of what the other players have. It is going to be Briggs that goes up against KC Double, and that might just be the best outcome that KC Double could have hoped for. We see the Siphon right into the backline. Is going to charge through everything here. Does not find the Graves, however, but is working on it, is trying to make his way there. Will charge away once more, and I don't think this is enough. The Graves has been left alone for too long. The Seraphine has stacked up the Archangels, and I don't think this Siphon can do it.
He gets the kill on the Graves, and that's going to be it. Briggs not taken down, but goes down to 4 HP. I thought it was a bronze
AI.
I thought it was bronze AI for a second, but it was just, he was hiding the tech. He goes for that perfect rampage bite onto the Graves at the very last moment, keeping it interesting for our viewers at home, for Briggs as well, and a big, big win there for that Siphon.
Yeah, Solokazang, however, getting knocked out 7th. And I have to stress once again, that was a prismatic scope weapons from the very first augment. Go 7th here. That is the lobby that we're in, and I don't even know where this one is headed at this point.
I have to commend Dasik, now win streaking 46 HP. He is the HP leader golden ticket I was talking about didn't work out for Revan yesterday, but Dasik understands, and maybe with Globemaster's staff, able to get gold to also buy all the units he's rolling with, able to get all of those upgrades. It's just a crazy, crazy, incredible board. Is there any player makes that we haven't seen enough of yet in this lobby that you want to maybe check out at this point?
I'm not sure if we should check in with Noel, maybe. I believe the last time we saw him, he was on a similar trajectory as Brix. We see it here. It is going to be Lagoon Mages with a little bit of Graves splashed in here. Not necessarily what you would have wanted on those Graves. Yeah, no. The Nyla, you know, no. Just no.
Noel is in for some damage. Soul, deletes the soul, unfortunately. The stacks come to an end for Noel. The game almost as well, down to 4 HP. Joins Brix, who does actually stabilize, gets the win, and stays there at 4 HP. KT61 still waiting for the result of his last fight, and unfortunately for him, gets a 6th place. Better than the 8th that he got in game 1, but he still has to keep climbing in the standings to try and get those points and make it to Worlds.
Yeah, that's a really, really bad start. We've been talking about mental, and of course, Casey Double, back-to-back EMEA champion, former world champion. He knows how to play tournaments. We're not too worried about that, but getting an 8th and now a 6th, that's a trajectory that's going to throw you in for a ride, because it forces you from now on out to go for those 8 or first play styles to try and get back the points that you've lost along the way. And something else that we might lose along the way is either Brix or Noel as we go into this fight.
The final prismatic augment, the Mystic Crown, is going to help with the magic resist against this AP comp that Noel is bringing to the table with Sohm. The amount of burst is insane with the Shojin. So many casts every single second. Zeri trying to do her best as well, but it's not going to be enough. The Graves kills off the Sohm. The entire comp has now been deleted, and Noel will take a 5th place in this game too. Brix stays alive like Coco, Dasik, and Lelouch very clearly ahead of him, though, in those top 3 positions.
Yeah, Lakoko, keep in mind, he's on 8 Darkflight 6 Assassins, and he's currently fighting Lelouch Sport. Last time we saw Lelouch, he was on that Mirage Dragon Angle, had found the Terra 2. Maybe we can check in with Lelouch as he actually loses here this round, and we go into the Treasure Goblin.
These are the kind of games you can only really get when there are, at least 2 prismatic augments. All these comps look so high roll. In the case of Coco with a 6 assassin board you don't see so often. Dasik with so many different 3-stars as well. Looking at the items here, Archangel's not really so great for Brix there. The Sunfire Cape, it's okay. There's no anti-heal right now in this current board with the Warmox, Dragonclaw, and the Radiant Bramble Vest. Is it the Rose Thorn vest?
I believe.
I have to work on my radiant items. That's for next set.
Watch out next time you
learn
learn
my
that.
abilities, and then I'll learn my radiant items, little by little.
Okay, so just looking on the right side of the screen, all 3 players are on level 8. They're all... actually, Dasik on level 9. They're super close in HP totals. The only player that's falling off in general is Brix, level 7. Lelouch now also going to 9, spending his last gold, making sure he finds that upgrade, and is still on that Mirage trajectory, where I'm not sure if that's where you would have wanted to be in the final 8 game.
Brix fighting for his life. 4 HP. He has the ice cream cone on both the Graves and the Seraphine, the Radiant JG. The Graves is the key star of the show, though. Has to stay alive, has to stay out of the way of this Rengar, who is an absolute menace to society, but especially to Brix's board. The Rengar jumping now again. Pretty much anyone he leeches onto is going to die due to the burst damage, but in this case, not quite enough. The Grave stays alive, stays healthy, is able to get so many kills with the Edge of Night and the Giant Slayer combination, and Brix at 4 HP, going to stick around for at least one more fight. Like Coco drops down to 10.
I think that's delayed impact, no? Oh, nope.
We're good, we're good.
Yeah, okay.
4,
Never
10,
mind.
10.
I got scared, okay? I'll be honest. So, Coco, Lelouch, and Brix all might get knocked out here. And I'm really not sure who I'm betting on of making it into the top 2. I just know whoever is facing Dasik, and it's going to be Coco, is in for a ride. We saw what this board can do. We are on 4 Dragonmancers only, but every single one of them is 3 stars with item, and that one's going to hurt if you meet this Kai'Sa.
We're going to see if Dasik wants to make any last changes to his comp. Yasuo on the bench, Bard as well, these key 5-cost units. But for now, Fighting like Coco, once again, the mission here is to stay out of the way of this Rengar, especially for this Kai'Sa. The Rengar going to jump one more time. So much damage coming through, though. The Rengar almost taken down and is now taken down. It comes down to Swain. A lot of stacks from the Darklight Essence, but still, there's just too much damage coming in. Too many 3-stars, too many stats overall on day 6 board. And I think that won't be enough to survive this last damage, this last amount of... it's too much. Like Coco taken down, Bricks also taken down. It comes down to Daysik versus Lelouch. For me, as I've been telling you the entirety of this tournament, the two most consistent, most accomplished players in this set for EMEA, on ladder and in GSC.
I just want to highlight something. Daysik has now moved away from that positioning once again, but knowing that he was going to go up against a 6 assassin player, the way he cornered in that Kai'Sa was a beautiful show of positioning technique, making sure the Rengar didn't actually have too much space to jump onto her. We're going to go in now with Lelouch and Daysik, and if Lelouch should lose here, then Daysik is going to take it home. Keep your eyes on that Kai'Sa. It will all be about how much she can do. Gets knocked up by the Yasuo right away, but does not lose any HP here. She's on to the Deja. The Deja trying to stay alive, but the Kai'Sa says no. She takes everything out that's in her path. Terra not going to be a barrier here for this one, and Daysik just drives this win home.
It was kind of close in the end that the Dragon's Claw on the Terra did help out with denying a lot of that magic damage from the Kai'Sa, but overall, just such a great game from Daysik. Gets Golden Ticket, identifies exactly how to play around this augment, goes for, maybe got a bit fortunate with the Shimmer Skull item as well.